The Week 5 slate. Some fun games on the menu.
AFC heavy.
AFC heavy, yeah, that's true.
To me, the 4 best teams in the AFC are playing each other.
That's right. So Browns, Chargers, Bills, Chiefs.
I don't think there's any dispute.
Browns?
Maybe Ravens.
Yo, what about the Bengals, bro?
Oh, please.
You're not buying the Bengals hype?
Absolutely not.
Why? Let's open with that game. Packers, Bengals. That was one of the games I wanted to talk about.
Like
What is it about
very
them?
like defensively? Like what do they have there? Offensive line's still a mess. Like they're still pretty. Like they're still trying to figure out their identity. Like I still think Burrow's still recovering. And then how can you trust Zach Taylor, a guy who for 2 years is like people are trying to figure out what's he bringing to the table? What is his offense like? It's just I don't see much there. They easily could have lost to Jacksonville. They easily could have lost to Minnesota. Could easily be a 1-3 team. Like I just don't get the hype at all. Like okay, they got playmakers, but okay, you have a few receivers. You spent a lot of draft capital to get those receivers nonetheless, but no, I'm not buying Cincy one bit.
Wow, interesting. Okay, so they're currently first in the division. Well, they're tied for first. But their defense, they don't have anyone that jumps out, but I think they're playing pretty well. And also, they're sort of battle-tested. 2 of the 3 wins that they've had, they've been down by a touchdown or more, have to climb from behind. I'm liking what I'm seeing.
I mean, it's progress for a franchise that's been losing for so long. It's progress, but to put them up there as a top 4 AFC team, absolutely not.
I trust Joe Burrow more than I do Baker Mayfield.
Okay, I could see that, but look what the Browns' infrastructure is. Browns legitimately have a top 5 defense right now. Browns' defense is wrecking things.
Yeah.
They look scary, and that offense line running game could carry. I understand Baker's come off 2 bad games. Like I think Chicago, you watch that game, he did not play well at all, and then we know about the Minnesota game. Yeah, that's a fair take. It's just I think everything else though what Cleveland has superior to Cincinnati. Better coach, better defense, far better offensive line, and their running game. Their running game is best in the league. They know how to control possession and then get off the field on third downs with their pass rush. Their pass rush is like they got reclamation projects right now. Like Malik McCall was like this high big prospect. He kind of fell out of the league, had drug issues. Now he's back in the league as like a interior pass rusher. He's wrecking things. My boy Tack McKinley, who kind of fell out of favor in Atlanta, they're using him as a situational edge rusher, much better fit for him. He's getting after it. Clowney looks great, and we all know how good Garrett is. Like I'm loving Cleveland, man. I know the offense with Baker is a concern, but I think we've kind of come to the conclusion that Baker is, he's a structured QB. He's not someone that you could really depend on.
Interesting.
So you really think Cincy's a top 4 AFC team right now?
Nah, I wouldn't say that, but I don't think the drop off between them and Cleveland is that far. Personally, I think I'm buying more Burrow stock as we go.
Cincy or Baltimore?
I'd take Cincy.
Wow.
Yo, Cincinnati's defense is 7th in the league.
Okay, but dude, when you play Ben Roethlisberger and the Jaguars,
right? Look, their wins. They have 3 wins against teams that have a combined 2 wins on the year: Minnesota, Pittsburgh, and Jacksonville. I get that. However, I like that. They're down 14-0 to the Jaguars at halftime, and they come back and they win a game like that. That shows me grit. That shows me they can deal with adversity.
Yeah,
I
think long term it helps. Absolutely, I'm not trying to downgrade Cincinnati long term. Like this is legitimate progress. They should be thrilled. But it's just I have a hard time believing them as an actual playoff team right now. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. That's fair. We'll get to Cleveland in a sec, but let's talk about the Bengals and the Packers. So, I think one important thing to monitor is the status of Jair Alexander.
Yes. Because
the way Jamar Chase, we haven't seen Higgins yet really pop off because he's been hurt last couple of games. But on offense, they trust Joe Burrow. They put the ball in his hands, which rightfully so. You should be. I think dude is an absolute baller. His numbers to Aaron Rodgers in their first 14 career starts are almost identical. 22 touchdowns to 9 interceptions for Burrow. 23 touchdowns to 12 interceptions for Aaron Rodgers. 94.8 passer rating, 91.8 passer rating for Aaron Rodgers. Burrow reminds me, and I don't know if it's because they wear the same number, but he has a lot of Tony Romo in him, where He can make plays on the move, like the touchdown that he had to Uzoma there to win that game. But also just his swagger. You can't zero blitz me.
Yeah.
Like, it's over. It's over for you. Like, I like they get up for that. And you're right. Maybe it could be because it's been so bad in Cincinnati all these years that now they have something building, and maybe I'm overreacting to it, which could be fair as well.
That's an interesting comp, Romo. I definitely see similarities. I just think with Burrow, one thing, and I'm not sure if this is always going to hinder him, but he doesn't quite have the arm strength you would want from like a true elite QB. And I'm not saying he's elite now, but like I just think throwing his deep ball accuracy, I think could use some work. But besides that, like I think he's great when it comes to like handling pressure. Like, you see a lot of QBs, especially younger QBs, not be able to handle pressure. The fact that we already knew how tough he was from the beatings he took early in his rookie year.
Yeah.
But now I just think he's be able to handle the blitz better. And that's huge for a young quarterback because a lot of these quarterbacks, they just hold on to the ball too long. They don't want to release it. Burrow, he makes great decisions.
And also think about what he's had to come back from. His knee
yeah.
was completely shattered. That scar that he has on his knee, too. I always made the joke of I would have put that picture of his knee surgery and what it looks like after on the wall during the draft rooms.
That's a statement.
Yeah, to get offensive line help. But I like that it doesn't seem to be a lingering issue for him. Like, dude, Carson Wentz has never been the same since he tore his ACL.
No.
It just seems like he's holding on to the ball for too long. His eyes are dropping.
He's not decisive.
Yeah, where Burrow, it seems to be as if he never got hurt, which I love. And I think going back to the Packers, seems there's something about them that I can't figure out what it is, but I don't like them as much as I did last year.
I feel like they're always Packers in the regular season. They kind of...
You think they're on cruise control?
A little bit.
Could it be because the division's been so bad that they know that worst comes to worst, we'll be able to make the playoffs because we have the best guy in the division?
That's true. And I think there's still, particularly with the offense line, Bakhtiari not being there. He's not supposed to be back till another few weeks. Losing Lindsey as well. I just think they haven't quite hit that stride offensively you want them to get. And defensively, I think also losing Darius Smith. So they've dealt with some injuries, and yeah, it hasn't looked all that impressive with the Packers. But then again, like we remember that 13-3 year, they had 7 games where they won by single digits.
Right.
But they still won 13-3, and people were like not impressed at all. But I still think just given how battle tested they are and just what they've done the last 2 years, like Packers, look, you gotta respect what they've done.
So Alexander is going to be out this week.
That's a huge
because
that means Kevin King's out to play. Oh no.
Oh man. I would have cut that guy after the NFC title game.
They re-signed him. Like, why?
They don't believe in free agents. That's why. So they're like, let's just keep the guys.
Yeah, but they were interested in Gilmore, just like they were interested in Allen Robinson, and they were interested in drafting Justin Jefferson. Like
Devontae Adams posted, "Call me." On Gilmore's Instagram.
Gilmore going to Green Bay. Oh my God! Imagine him and Alexander.
Yo, because
bullying people.
LaFleur came out and he said that Alexander hopes to avoid season-ending surgery. So this is a legitimate injury, and I think if he's out, we talked about him as a potential defensive player of the year from an odds perspective. How he's one of the premier corners, and he was 40-1 odds. Mm-hmm. And I think what he means to that defense, because they're so bad in the secondary, and because teams don't target him as much as they do the other guys. Mm-hmm. It's similar to, remember when Cromartie came to the Jets? And Cromartie was like a really good corner on the Chargers, but dude was getting picked on all the time, and it looked so bad because they weren't throwing at Revis. Right. Kenny King is no Cromartie, right? I'm not saying that, but I'm saying the situation is a little identical. I think that's a big loss for them, man. I think that's, especially in a matchup right now where Jamar Chase is an absolute baller. Mm-hmm. Right now, if the season was to end, I'd give him Offensive Rookie of the Year. I don't think that's a crazy take because you can't give it to any of the quarterbacks.
Yeah, you're right.
There hasn't been a running back that's really popped off as a rookie.
Yeah, Chase is the one that really stands out. He's scoring pretty much every week.
Yeah,
and a lot of it's coming off deep balls. Like his vertical speed, oof.
Yeah,
taking the top off.
So much for all these dorks that were complaining about him not being able to see the football. Right?
He served them up bad. That was such a big talking point. Like obviously, the responses and interviews were concerning, but it's just like, man, come on. Like, we've seen his college tape. Like, this guy could play football now.
Yeah, dude. Dude was such a stud, man. So, I think this game, I see a lot of points because I don't think anyone could stop Devontae Adams. Mm-hmm. He'll probably continue to get peppered with targets. The total has moved in this. It opened at 48. It's at 50.5 now. So sports books are expecting a lot of points as well.
This might be the biggest game in Cincinnati in a long time. Come to think of it.
Oh, bro, easily.
Yeah.
Easily the biggest game.
I was not really thinking about this game until...
Bro, they're both 3-1.
Okay.
And I think...
They're under the radar, I guess, Cincy. Maybe.
Well, I'll tell you this much. If they win, which they're my favorite underdog this weekend to win, I like them at home. Joe Burrow at home is a completely different quarterback. There's some good energy right now in
Could you really say that after, 11... He's played, 12 games in the league? He's different at home? I like to see those splits.
Well, he's covering 70% of his games at home. So the games are close.
All right, this is gambling. I'm talking about actual, statistics.
Right. Well,
I want to hear about, okay, he covered a spread 13 points. This is how I'm going to justify he's a good quarterback or he's a different QB at home. I need actual evidence that doesn't pertain to the score.
Let's pull it up. Right now.
Because think about it. He's played, 12 games? He's played 8 last year, 4 now. I'm just curious what his home-away splits are. And I look, granted, he's been on a just terrible situation.
Mm-hmm. So last year in home games, 69% completion. On the road, 62%.
Oh, okay. That's a discrepancy.
6 touchdowns at home, 7 touchdowns on the road, 3 intos at home, 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions on the road. Sacked only 8 times at home as opposed to 24 on the road. Passer rating way higher at home than on the road.
There's validity behind this. Okay.
Also, a lot of his away games, they were losses, whereas he played better at home and won games at home.
I just remember a Thursday night game last year. I believe it was against Cleveland, and it felt like every other time he dropped back, he was
he threw 50 or 60 times.
No,
and he was getting beat up all the time. I know there was that one play against Pittsburgh where he got lit up prior to him getting hurt. Yeah. So, look, this is a game where if the Bengals win,
all right, then
they'll be the talking point.
Yeah, the conversation changes if they beat Green Bay.
Yeah,
talk about one of the most battle-tested teams in the league. So,
what do you think Green Bay needs to do to make people feel better about them?
I really think it comes down defensively because offensively, ever since week 1, they've bounced back. They've been moving the ball well. Maybe get A.J. Dillon a little bit more involved. Look, everyone loves Aaron Jones. Don't get me wrong, but I think they kind of want to control time possession a little better because that defense is still. I don't know. It's been a letdown. It's just they don't get pressure as much. Obviously now without Jair, this is a problem. Linebackers aren't really making enough plays. It's just bad. To me the biggest bright spots were Sean Gary, who I did not see coming because he was a real raw prospect coming out. People were not high in him being this first round pick, but he's really turned it up. But besides that, it just hasn't been a lot there. So I think if you're the Packers, you want to maybe have a little bit more of a ball control style of offense. You want to dominate time possession because you really can't trust that defense.
T. Higgins practiced in limited both days this week. Did not practice was Joe Mixon. So that's going to be interesting. And they might be getting Jesse Bates back.
Oh, that's massive.
Yo, Jesse Bates has been a dude that, you know how you always hear NBA Twitter really likes this point guard and he'll be playing on, Memphis or Sacramento. Mm. He's a dude who NFL Twitter really raves about.
Him and Justin Simmons, those two safeties that are just these cover safeties that they have range for days. Mm-hmm. They cover 20 yards, no problem. Bates isn't that great of a tackler, though, compared to Simmons, but people do rave about Bates. The guy's an absolute ball hawk, and there aren't enough ball hawks in this league.
Also, Trey Hendrickson might be out. That's going to be big getting the pass rush on Aaron Rodgers. Yeah. But, there's just something about Cincinnati where I can see them winning this game and then the talking point next week, leaving week 5, coming on the Monday show with Impy. Any sports show or podcast you listen to might be opening up with them.
Might be hard because Sunday night game is literally
yeah. No, I know.
Might be a little hard there, but it will be a big talking point.
But the expectations are for those two teams to be good, where Cincinnati's coming out of nowhere.
Yeah. It's just that's such a high-profile Sunday night game. But, I feel you on that because, look, people thought Cincy at best was a 5-win team, and now look at them. They're getting after it.